was a typo, and I'm like, welcome on to Two Capes. I'm Jared, and my camera is screwing up again.
When that happens.
Yeah, I can't ever get a break with this.
I really hate when it happens. You just start it up.
Cameron. There you go. So, hey, what's up, Cameron? And today we are discussing how to get into comics. In other words, how to get into the hobby, because it's a question that we get asked a lot, and it's a question that, to be fair, can seem very intimidating when it's not broken down. Now, the other thing is, like, as Robert will bring up, there are certain people that try to oversimplify it, if you want to go into that, Robert.
I would say, just pick up a book.
Yeah, that's true.
No, you want that, just pick up something that interests you. Don't worry. Okay, some books you might. There's a gamble. Can we be honest? There is a gamble. Some like Tom King, for example.
That's a gamble for a whole lot of reasons. William Powell. Comics are confusing. Won't be stealing this one. Oh, okay, William. I see how it is.
Right.
Here's the thing.
I'm saying a gamble could be confusing continuity-wise. It could be confusing writing-wise. It's a gamble. But more than likely not, you're not going to have a problem, if you ask me.
Yeah. So the first advice I always give people when they're trying to get into comics and they don't know like exactly who to read, I always say start with a team book like Justice League or Avengers, because here's why. That's a good sampler of, in a nutshell, here's who these characters are. That way, when you find like the couple of characters that you really like, you can go into their books, and that kind of like narrows it down a little bit. It still can get pretty like intense when you have characters like Batman, but at least it's less intimidating than if you're like, look at the entire DC universe.
Exactly. And like I said, going for like any like Batman, Superman, that's still a good chance if you want to, but it depends if you're already willing to give Superman a shot. You know what I mean? If you're someone who's already feeling like, oh, who's the Superman guy? You're not going to be interested. You are.
Well, it's also, here's the problem with picking the team book. If the team book is written by someone not writing, like, let's say Superman, like if it's like Jeff Johns is writing Justice League and let's say Mark Waid is writing Superman, you may like Superman in the Justice League book, but not in the Mark Waid book, in other words.
I mean, odds are, if it's Mark Waid on Superman, I mean, I know what you're saying. I know you're using
no, but as someone that doesn't know who Mark Waid or Jeff Johns is, that's what I mean.
That is also the gamble. Or you could go on and see Jason Aaron's Avengers and see She-Hulk as this, and then that'll change your view on She-Hulk if you didn't know.
Well, yeah. And it's also like the idea that, like, let's say I like Wonder Woman and Justice League and hell no to Tom King. So it's like you have that. But still, it's like at the very least, use that as like a entry point, because what you can do from there is this require a little bit more research. You can go back and look at what are like the best runs for like say Wonder Woman, and then you can like go, even if you don't like that writer, you can like other writers.
Here's another idea. So, and when it comes to DC, at least, they're compact books.
Yes, those are great.
Those are great because they're like they just give you a mostly self-contained story or a miniseries or whatever in one book, one tome. You read it, boom, you can get a good understanding. Or the essentials. And the essentials that they tell you a year.
And William says the best thing to do is start them off with linchpin stories. That's
not guaranteed.
Yeah, but I mean, if you start them off with like a book like Kingdom Come, I'm like, to a degree, you can kind of start off with that because it is relatively self-contained.
But it's an Elseworld, and most people you don't want.
No, but still, the characters still act consistently, so you can go, okay, I like that. Okay, let's go back into this, and I can look at the younger years of the superheroes.
But don't give them something like Amazon's Attack.
Never give anyone Amazon's Attack.
Original.
Actually, don't give them the newer one either, because that is very steeped in continuity. That will be confusing for a lot of people.
That is true.
Except the first one, never give it to them because it's a freaking war crime.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
What's a bigger war crime? The Rich Amazon's Attack or that Wonder Woman pilot?
Oh, God, that's a good question. Oh, my God. Taladia, what do you think, brother?
I mean, you kicked me off with New 52, okay? That was when you first started me off. Remember?
Now, I will say onto that point, here's where you, since everything's canon, here's where you can kind of do also, because I came back into comics at like the best time because it was 2013 and the new 52 was in full swing, where you didn't have to read that much backstory in order to like get into the characters. So that is kind of an option, and that's the advantage of hard reboots. The disadvantage is that you then piss off the longtime readers.
Which I should say, go in with an open mind on things as well. I tell people, go in and realize things are going to change. Go in for it with expecting shakeups.
Yeah, because comics change all the time. Exactly. And oftentimes, here's the thing, if they make a change that you don't like, chances are they're going to get rid of that change eventually, because comics are cyclical.
Now, killing off a character, that's up in the air depending on the character.
It also depends on how popular the character is, but there are a lot of different factors that take into like that. But I'm saying is that virtually everything, you can pretty much expect that like they'll have the change for like, let's say, a run, even a run. And then once the run is over, they won't necessarily retcon it, but they'll ignore it.
Yes, exactly.
They'll only retcon it out if it's particularly like really egregious, or the writer does like a crime or something like that.
Exactly.
So
an actual crime, not a crime in your opinion.
No, an actual like literal crime. Yes. Go ahead, Claudia.
So William is saying in the chat, pretty much guaranteed is how I keep these lights on.
Is we keep giving the linchpin stories. Hey, that works to a degree. Again, it depends on the linchpin story as well. Now, the thing that I did,
good one for X-Men. Dark Phoenix.
True. Now, I guess that kind of is. Now, here's the thing, and William, I disagree with you on this one, because when he was on my show, he said for Wonder Woman, he gives them dead Earth, and I'm like, no. What? Because not only is that in Elseworlds, that is like extremely Wonder Woman. That's like a little bit to the extreme of Wonder Woman in terms of getting into the character. The problem is there are characters that, at least in the public perception, don't have that many like well-known stories that you can like give to them and say, here. Like, you're not going to say Amazon's attack.
Nope, we already said that.
Under any circumstances. Or Tom King. Hell no. Or what you could probably do.
Some of Tom King's minis, you could.
Minis, yes, you could give them like if you want to understand like
Supergirl, the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow as well.
Except in that one, it treats Supergirl like she's a drunken pirate, but still, I see what you're saying there. I see. Let me this way: if one of those minis like Supergirl is becoming a movie, yes, give them the mini. Obviously, what do you want to say, Claudia?
I was gonna say, the matey, because she's a pirate.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, obviously, if like a project is being adapted, find out like what books are being adapted and like read them, and then that's another good way to get into it. Or like if you see like The Winter Soldier, go pick up the comic. Even though the comic is virtually not that movie, you could still it could still be like an entry point. Here's how you can get into those characters. Hey, what's up, Tavia?
Again, I have to disagree with William what he just said there. Yeah, it works because it gives an unattached narrative, but no,
because you can't go from there because it's only one story.
I'll say this: unlike, say, All-Star Superman or Dark Knight Returns, where those ones where you could at least, yes, it's their last stories, but it can allow you to at least look. No, it celebrates what came before, so you want to go and look back at those. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman Dead Earth does none of that. It's a great story. It's pretty much her final story, but it doesn't celebrate Wonder Woman.
Exactly. Aggressively Relaxing says, hey, some of us don't mind the tone of airport romance novel in our Batman. Yeah, that's fair enough. And William said, he's saying an opinion. Yeah, it's totally fine, dude. Yeah.
And for someone like you, that's fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And you know what? If that works for you from a business perspective, then hey, keep doing it, because honestly, we need more people in comics, by the way.
But,
This is an opinion.
This is an opinion. Yeah. Heck,
Yep,
if you've
you're
seen
right.
Civil War, you can check out the comic. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the other
the
one.
movie
where,
did it best. The movie did it better.
The movie did it in a more truncated, but a lot more simple way. And I'm like, this is the basic plot of the Civil War story.
I'll say it, Civil War, the game. You know what? Actually, more not the game, the movie. You know what more was based off of?
What?
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Alliance 2 is literally Civil War.
But just like with the movie, you actually have an actual bad guy you can punch.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, okay. It's something I use as daily practice to sell comics to new collectors. Hey, if that works for you, bro, that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the movie did definitely do it better because it took away all the other BS. Because Taladia, there's like hundreds of comics taking place during Civil War that are tied to it.
Yeah.
But the movie just said, okay, take all that out. Here's what it is in a nutshell.
But even then, you also understand where Tony's coming from, whereas because you actually built up to it across some of the movies, whereas Civil War, the comic, had no build up.
Which it would have made sense if, like, in Secret Invasion, they made some of the characters Skrulls. Then you could have explained why some of them act out of character.
But to be fair, though, some of the stuff, like if they had said Tony was a Skrull, that would have been a bit too pat.
No, I'm not saying make Tony a Skrull, but I'm just saying maybe Miriam Sharp, make her a Skrull, the woman that told...
I kept thinking she was one. She had to be. There was just something off about that woman.
So, by the way, Taladia, Miriam Sharp in the Civil War story is the woman that came to Tony Stark and says, this is essentially, you know who she is? She's the woman in Civil War, the movie, who came up to him and says, this is my son that died in Sokovia. That's pretty much who the character is.
But she's worse.
She's worse, yeah.
Because they feel like she comes up to him even when he starts to doubt everything, and I was like, "No, you were right. They broke the law. You're completely justified." That when she appeared at Black Goliath's funeral, that's when I'm like, something's fishy here.
Why exactly. And Tevye says, "Yeah, so are two to adapt that." Yes, exactly. And you need to give them the gateway that's not so intimidating, so that they can proceed at their own pace. Great. Yeah, that's true, exactly. And I guess that's where you can go with, like, giving Elseworld stories like Kingdom Come, because that is, like, self-contained. Yes, it references maybe, like, I mean, you do have to know who Superman is, but everyone knows who Superman is.
I still say something like Superman Up and Away is a great one to give.
Yeah, but it's still too steeped in continuity. You got to go, why is he getting back in us with the 1 year later? Why isn't he doing stuff?
But they do summarize things enough for you.
A good comic to start off on, if you're a Superman fan, in my opinion at least, Superman Secret Origin. Start off on that.
Yeah, exactly. Start with look up the most recent origin for the character, like the most recent book that they've done with the origin, or hell, they reprint that so many times. Like with Wonder Woman, I would say Gods and Mortals.
Gods and Monsters.
Oh yeah, Gods and Monsters. Just pick that up and start from there, because that's like the most craziest of comics is what attracts the most personalities. Yeah, heck, if you want to get into Batman, you could. No. Do not get into apps. No. Because that is like intentionally not Batman.
Exactly.
What we're talking about here is like how to get into in continuity, like, or like, what's the word? As much as close to mainstream continuity as we can.
Like the classic comics. That's what you want.
Yeah, because let me put it this way. I would say, okay, if I were trying to recommend someone to Wonder Woman, I would say, hey, the current Wonder Woman one is not good, but there's this crazy Wonder Woman if you're interested in that type of stuff. By William Powell says origins are great, but with DC you have continuity problems, which is why I avoid him. Which is also he does make a good point, because DC changes the origins for their characters or which origin they're referencing so many times. Yeah. So it's like, which one are you?
There are some safe ones, like Flash and Green Lantern are safe.
Yeah. Plus, with Green Lantern, I would just say, just read Green Lantern Secret Origin or Rebirth. Even Rebirth, I would say you could get away with, because Jeff Johns, at least for the most part, explains stuff in the text. Like, this is what happened.
Well, this is what up and away too.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's where you kind of go with that. In terms of Wonder Woman, yeah, that's an interesting one.
I'd say I gotta
George Perez
say
run.
Perez's run or Rucka's. I hate to say it, Rucka's Rebirth one is not a bad starting point for someone new. For someone new, if you're a long-standing,
Actually, no, it's not. Here's why. They reference the Zeus origin. And it's like, well, I've never been home.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Rucka, the first run, and the Perez run are two great options.
Yes, and Simone's run, Gail's run too.
No, I would argue not, because that one, I'm trying to pick ones that reference the least amount of continuity.
Immortal Wonder Woman? No. That's Future State.
That's way too Future State. And then Tebia says, do not do Krakoa.
No. Don't do Krakoa, but at the same time, he does have a point. Even if you give him something like Dark Phoenix, they've changed so much since then.
How about just because they keep reprinting the original giant size X-Men like era. Just start from there and move on.
Right. Rest in peace to Ed Piscor, but you can do this grand design.
Yeah, exactly. What do you want to say, Taladia?
William says he's going to steal this. Just saying.
Yeah, you also have to consider. You guys are talking from the inside. It's a difficult job to convince it out. Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm saying, pick the story that has the least amount of continuity to do. Because that way, even with the origin story, like that's why I say like, the ideal is the George Perez Wonder Woman, because that is literally like let me put it this way. Rucka, the first one, and Simone all build off of that one. So you could just start from that, and then you know fundamentally the important players in Wonder Woman.
Here's one. Let's say there's a video game, popular video game, like Spider-Man, and they have the alternate costumes. You know, if there's a good story that's connected to it, maybe show them that. Like,
that can work.
It had Captain Universe in it, who has appeared in some of the games.
Aggressively relaxing is like, I guess if you really want to get into Wonder Woman, you start with Greek mythology. I mean, that's its own like a basket of worms.
No,
no.
Hey, you're picking up ones that are good stories. No question.
We're not talking about good stories again. We're talking about stories that pretend we never read comics before.
And Craven is
because here's the thing. Craven has the black. It's a black suit Spider-Man too. Because you got to explain that.
But the black fabric suit.
The black fabric suit that makes it even more complicated. Okay, so Claudia, here's what happened. So the original Secret Wars happens. Spider-Man gets the black suit. I'm going to speed through this. It turns out it's Venom. So he gets rid of the black suit, but likes the way it looks, so he makes a cloth version of the black suit.
That was, of course, done because editorial, so many other people were trying to keep the costume going. So it was decided, okay, for consistency, it's a black fabric. We'll keep it fabric for a while until Amazing Spider-Man 300, where after MJ got threatened by Venom, it was like, get rid of it. I don't want to be reminded of that thing.
Yeah, William says people coming in from different genres taking in stories differently. Things like Wonder Woman Dead Earth may not be an entry point for you. That is true too, because you could show them here's like a story that has these characters like Wonder Woman, but it's also a post-apocalyptic story, and you would really enjoy that. And then you could say, hey, if you like that, here's the main Wonder Woman.
I just realized. Sorry, go ahead.
Another really good example, if you're going to start from Batman, would be the Court of Owls. That would be a very good start. I would say a good starting point for Batman fans would be like, okay, we'll do the Court of Owls. They could get off. Obviously, it's New 52, but still, the Court of Owls is still a major big player in the DC universe, right? So technically,
well, plus that book kind of introduced you to like all of Batman's players and the Robins and all that stuff. So you could kind of just really, when you think about it, most of the New 52 trades, you could just give them the number one trade and say, here's who this character is.
Now, hold on. I just had one. I handed.
Yeah, and William says you have to meet the customer where they are. That is 100% true. 100% true.
We're just talking about just general guidelines, William. I mean, obviously, what you're talking about are niche people, because not everyone's going to be that way either, though. So you got to look at it that way. I know. Here's a good one. If you want something for She-Hulk, Byrne or Slots.
Yeah, I would say so. That would be the best.
Or Soule.
Anything Charles Sewell.
Oh.
Soule or Sewell?
I keep forgetting.
All right, I'm going to say Charles Sewell. Anything by Charles Sewell is great. So there you go. That's what I would do.
Yeah, but Red Lantern is not a good starting point.
Yeah, Tavia, you're picking only books that you like and not...
Okay, he's not wrong there, though. With Jeremy Adams' Flash, he's not wrong there.
Is that really doesn't that reference a lot of continuity?
It does, but they also explain it as it's going on. And by the time they have the continuity, you're a few issues in anyway. Basically, it's not to the end of the arc that it references Heroes in Crisis. Right beforehand, it's just some wild adventure.
I guess you could kind of go with that. But again, to reiterate the rules, we're not talking about stories that we personally like, because obviously we could go on for hours about that.
Williamson's run, though, is a good starting point, because that was Rebirth.
Williamson's run, I think you could kind of go off of that. I would say that.
Or New 52 Flash.
Manipul was great. Yeah, exactly. You could definitely go off of that. New 52 Green Lantern. No. You know that. That reference is way too much. That's why I say at least start in Rebirth, because that's like the least friction.
Or start right at Vendetti's run.
Okay.
That is a good starting point after Jeff Johns' run ended. When Vendetti started, that's a good starting point.
Yeah, and in terms of Justice League, you could pretty much start at like the beginning of any run, because you see like team forms and then adventures start.
I know Meltzer, McDuffie,
Morrison, Johns, even Wade. I would say you could. I mean, wait. Actually, no, what? Wade, you could do as well, because here's why. All they say is, yeah, we fought some stuff with Amanda Waller. See Absolute Power, and you're pretty good there. We're gonna coordinate resources.
He's Senior Frontier, yes. Heck yes.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, that is in a nutshell. Here's who these characters are.
Okay,
I was just about to say New Frontier. By the way,
are there some books that some books I would say no to giving someone because it'll be too complicated?
What?
Unfortunately, a lot of Kirby work. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
I love the man, but New Gods, Eternals.
I was about to say, could you give them New Gods?
Maybe. Well. New Gods, remember, though, ties also to Superman and Jimmy Olsen and all that. You have all of that. If you were to dive right into just the New Gods solo book, no, because most of the buildup was in Jimmy Olsen.
Now, I'm going to tell this. If someone said, I want to read Tom King stuff, I'm going to tell them this. He's better on the... I do think... Here's the advantage of Tom King writing his best work on a mini. It's easier to get people to get invested in a mini, because you like if I were to suggest read his Batman run, I mean, you could read like a trade and then go, okay, this is really good. But if you read like Mr. Miracle, just so you can get like a sampling of King's writing, not necessarily the character, but maybe if you want to see like what type of writer King is, just give him any of his minis. You're good.
Cameron, I got a perfectly good one for that.
Yeah.
Busick and Perez's Avengers.
Okay. Oh, by the way, William brings up, if you're a dealer and you give them Kirby, then it's my job to help them navigate it. Yeah, that's true. Actually, this is the other thing I would tell people: go to your the attendant at your local comic book shop. I'm sure they'd be happy to like assist you and like direct you through stuff. All right, Cameron, it's a good point. Let's transition over to Marvel now.
That's what I was saying. That's what I said.
And again, Robert, you brought up my point. Avengers, a team book. Pick a character you like, and then go for that.
No, wrong. Because a lot of time beforehand, especially the 90s era, where they had the leather and everything, no. That was confusing, complicated, and a lot of characters you don't even know who the heck they are.
Now, here's the advantage of Marvel that Marvel has. You could tell them, who's your favorite MCU character? Okay, Iron Man. And then you could just go, here's Extremis. Let's go with Extremis. You could go off of that. Thor. Honestly, I would give them to Jason Aaron. Or Walter Jurgen. Simonson, really, I would say would be a good one.
Yep, even Jurgen Thor or JMS's Thor. Not Matt Fraction, yes, but Karen Gillian, no, because that tied right into JMS. You would need JMS first before Gillian.
Yeah, for Venom, Donny Cates.
Hulk, Peter David.
Yeah.
Immortal,
William says, I start Marvel folks with the ultimate imprint and then guide them from there. No, it's just to give them like an introduction to the character, and then you can go, okay, so here are the other stories there.
But not ultimates.
Not ultimates, but just the ultimate line.
I know, but I'm saying, but ultimates is what could throw people off.
Well, if they say I like the first Avengers movie, then I would at least say Ultimates 1, I would say.
Yeah, but like I said, Peter David's Hulk or Immortal Hulk. Or Greg Pak's Hulk, Planet Hulk.
Yeah, I would say
Planet Hulk, you don't need any introduction. You could just dive right in.
JMS Spider-Man is actually not that bad of a suggestion, Tavia.
Yeah, that is a good suggestion. JMS is Spider-Man or not Spencer's.
No. Aggressively, because do I want to help someone understand the character, get into the medium, or understand the current? I would start with understanding the character.
Understand the character, then work to the current, then to the ongoing, and the current.
Yeah, because and by the way, real quick, I would say gain them and understand the character first. Then you give them a few books that gets them into the medium. Then once they like have a general idea, you can start to work them to the main books. That's the way I think you kind of go with that.
Batman 66. People know about Adam's Batman. Use that as a way to lead in.
Can I give another example?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah, of course.
Another way you could actually introduce people to comics would be the 78 or 77 Christopher Reeve comics, or even the 1989 Batman comic.
Yeah, that's it with 66.
Yeah, exactly. Cameron says, would it be a good idea to do the Krakoa era and go from there? I get what you're saying. See, I understand, because here's the problem with the Krakoa era. If you go to House of X, Powers of 10, that is very much referencing a buttload of continuity.
Agreed.
So even there, they're like, there's all this stuff I gotta read. That's why really I would say find a reprint of the first like couple of issues of Claremont's run and then go off of that, because practically every X-Men like story is based off of that. Go ahead, Robert.
Cable and Deadpool.
Okay.
Perfect for both characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably one of the better Deadpool runs. Like I said, I realize DC probably is the one that has the harder jumping on points.
To a degree. Well, and here's why. Because since Marvel has the advantage of the movies, you could take anyone's age like Iron Man 1. Okay, here's the book. Where with DC, like...
It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I got Talati a star because I showed him like New 52 Superman. Just start with that, because even like the Grant Morrison run, you could take that as like a foundation of Superman and just go off of that.
I just realized something else. But then there's some characters you're going to have to explain a few details. Like Iron Man, if it's pre-extremis, you got Tony wasn't the biggest character of the Marvel Universe at this point. You got to remind, there's some cases where you're going to have to explain that to some people. Like Tony was not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in universe, yes. In universe, he was.
In terms of like popularity, no. The only reason why we got an Iron Man movie first is because that was the only movie that was one of the only characters they had access to.
Yep, and they went with RDJ, and it just they got lucky. They got royally. I mean, most of that movie was improv, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, it makes sense. But yeah, DC is the hardest to get into because they're heroes to the most part to an outside perspective. Outside, obviously, the three of us know better, but to an outside perspective, since DC has like this gods amongst men attitude, it does look intimidating or like unrelatable, if you will.
I just realized something else. Secret Wars is much easier acceptable than Crisis.
Yeah, because it involves it's less to deal with.
Although Crisis was one of the first books I read, so take that for what you will.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I started on Trinity War, literally the near the end of Jeff Johns' Justice League.
Batman Hush.
Actually, yes, Batman Hush you could do, because here's the thing.
Superman for Tomorrow, no.
Well, here's the thing when it comes to, like, what's the word?
William, I disagree with that one.
Give me a sec. Let me talk here. when it gets to Hush, because it doesn't reference stuff that chances are, if you know who Batman is, you know his origin, and it perfectly introduces each character in his world in like small vignettes. It's like a team book. So you could go, I like Huntress, go read Birds of Prey. I like Oracle, Birds of Prey. I like Nightwing, go read Nightwing.
Halloween.
Long Halloween is perfect. Yes.
Long Halloween. But yeah, Secret Wars and Crisis were not mistakes. I'm sorry, they were not.
Well, once again, William is the guy who hates who hates any type of reboot.
But Secret Wars is not a reboot.
It was kind of a soft reboot.
No. Not I'm talking about the original.
No, he's talking about I was talking about the actual Secret, the one from Hickman.
No, I was talking about both Crisis and Secret Wars when that came out.
See, that's the problem, Marvel. You name the same stories the same. At least DC call the other Crises Infinite Dark, and Final
and Dark and.
Go ahead, Deladia.
I was gonna say another book you guys could really get into is the Earth One books. Besides the Wonder Woman book, like the Batman book and the Superman book, you probably can get into.
Not the Titans, though.
Not the Titans, and definitely not Green Lantern, because
Green Lantern is self-contained enough.
Yeah, but if you wanted to get them into Green Lantern, it's like by the way,
sorry.
Tevia brings up Teen Titans by Jeff Johns.
Yes.
Yep. Or Perez. Either of those works perfectly.
Oh, you know what? Better one for Perez than Wolfman is? Teen Titans Games, the original graphic novel.
Yep, there you go. Any of those. Now, how about Robin? Chuck Dixon run?
But it's only if you go for Tim, though.
If you're talking about Jason Todd.
Or Dick Grayson.
Well, I'm saying if you want to get, let's say someone's a Punisher fan, you go, what characters can I read? Okay, Red Hood. So get them under the Red Hood.
Or I gotta say, Jason really didn't get better until New 52 and Rebirth. Really, until then they were floundering with the character.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, introduce the basic concept of who the character is under the Red Hood.
Right, but then I would say Red Hood and the Outlaws after that.
Yes, go straight into Red Hood and the Outlaws. Trust me, you will avoid a lot of BS. Really, the other thing you could do, could you technically give them just the Grant Morrison run and be done with that?
A Batman?
Yeah.
No, that's way too continuity loaded. That is way too continuity loaded.
William brings up a lot of this is determined on the collector as well. You should be asking qualifying questions in order to get the best opinion.
We get that.
100%. Like if I were to tell, like if someone came to me and said, Jared, I want to get into comics, I'd say first, what type of fan are you? It's like the reason. I'll give you a perfect example. Reason why I gravitated to DC is because I was more of a fan of Greek mythology. Now, which publisher kind of weighs into that the most? DC. So I was like, okay, I'll go off of that.
Now, well, for me, I'm more guy into DC, one, because one of my first comics I ever read was from World Without, but also just something about the DC characters always struck me. I mean, I was surrounded by so much Marvel stuff. And, well, yes, I really like Spider-Man, the cartoon. I like the X-Men cartoon. But just something about DC always struck the chord with me. I don't know what it was, but something about it just always felt like, that's my heroes. Those are my heroes. Marvel's fine, but something about DC always just felt like, that's what I am.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I still read Marvel and I collect Marvel, but I'm more of a DC guy. How about you, Taladia? How'd you get hop into this crazy hobby?
Well, it was thanks to you personally, right? Thanks to you that I started collecting comics.
That will be awesome. Thank you.
And I first, obviously, you picked me up New 52. So I first picked up New 52 volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Grant Morrison. And that's Action Comics, by the way, Robert.
Yep, I know what it is.
And I also picked up Kingdom Come, Secret Origin, Earth 1. And those are the books so far I'm collecting. I'm waiting for other. I picked up Absolute afterwards. But I'm also want to pick up older books too. I was thinking about getting some Batman comics that I really want to dive into.
Hush.
For example.
Pick up Hush.
Yeah.
They even have it as a compact edition now, so it's like $10. At least in American cash.
Superman, Batman. If they have an animated movie, go with that.
Yeah,
actually, that works. Particularly those two, because those two animated movies follow the comics like practically to a T.
And did you know the writer wanted to continue, but unfortunately, Supergirl did not sell well.
Which is sad because that's my favorite one.
But unfortunately, it didn't do well. Unfortunately, but he wanted to do that one where you had the death bit where you had Superman totally choke out Wonder Woman with her lasso.
I will say I did like in that one, the Supergirl one, how they recreated Turner's style.
Very well. I mean, it wasn't that easy. Tell me it was not that easy.
It was not easy, but I think they did the best they could on that. Yeah. So, by the way, wait. Daniel says, "Hey guys, for me, comics started through TV. I didn't even know there were magazines with adventures, to Super Friends, Linda Carter, and fair enough. That's great. I mean, the Grant Morrison one, all you have to do is read Final Crisis, since it's focused on more on. No, not really.
Don't read Final Crisis. Do not read Final Crisis.
No. Do not give someone Final Crisis if they're just getting into comics.
That's a big no. I was going to give them Crisis before Final Crisis.
Yeah, exactly. I got into DC because Batman Beyond World and the animated series. Yeah, and that's another gateway. That was also kind of my gateway as well to the larger DC universe. Like, I knew who Superman and Batman were, but I didn't know who Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, or the Flash is. So you can imagine my surprise when I'm watching Justice League, the cartoon, and I'm like, who the hell are you people?
Funny enough, I was the opposite. I knew more about those a lot more about things going into by the time the cartoon showed up.
Well, you're older than me, so that kind of explains it.
Now, you know what? Something would be a good case of giving something that's weird but does fit in.
Okay, who'd you give that to?
It is self-contained. Well, anyone's in the sci-fi like Star Wars.
Okay,
there's a lot of Star Wars influence. I mean, come on, look at Baron Krayza. Who does he look like?
Han Solo.
No, the Baron.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
He looks like Vader.
Mm-hmm. That would work.
But yeah, you said Johnny Cage's Venom, it's a very good one to join in.
Imagine you give them Smastronaut for Hulk. No.
No. Oh boy. Immortal Hulk is a toughie because that one is so different from Hulk.
Yeah, in terms of Thor, you could give them Simonson or even Aaron, I think, if you start at the God Butcher arc.
Oh yeah, well, that's where the omnibus starts.
Yeah, you got to start there, but start there, and you can at least get into relatively who the character is. I think
Fantastic Four, Mark Waid's run.
Yeah. If you're a fan of the Justice League, Squadron Supreme.
Dude. But,
Captain America, Ed Brubaker.
Or Mark Gruenwald.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark Waid's first run, his first run.
And by the way, William said, when I steal this, I'll take a tour of the store and show you what I connect them with. Hey, that's a great idea, William. I would love that.
I did Mark Waid's first run. I'm not talking about his later one, but the first one.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of Captain America runs that you could really put people into, and it's all good.
I'm trying to think of some. Oh, Kurt Busiek's Iron Man is also a good one.
All right. How about Spider-Man?
Well, we said JMS Spider-Man. Oh, actually, you know what? There's a lot of good ones, especially those. Here's the other thing. So many of the runs are in omnibus. Michelini's Spider-Man.
Here's the other thing. Couldn't you technically just give them Ultimate Spider-Man?
You could, yes.
Because a good portion, at least the early part of that, is literally just a truncated version of the origin, except for the at the time modern day.
Right,
so
but I was it. Sorry.
So I was going to say, for example, if you wanted Miles Morales, just give them Ultimate Spider-Man for Miles Morales.
Yeah, from that point, because there is an Ultimate Spider-Man series that starts right as the other one ends and just features Miles. Go with that.
And if you saw Spider-Verse, you already know something similar happened.
Yeah, exactly. Just go with that. Tavia says, heck, Ultimate Spider-Man is what got me to Marvel. Yeah, exactly. So you could technically do that.
Okay.
100%.
Here's a big one. Now, This is going to be a question where it's not what we would prefer to give and what would make sense. Carol Danvers. What we would prefer over what would make sense.
Okay, so here's the problem with that. I would have said the Brian Reed run, but here's the problem with that. That references House of M, like literally the first page.
And it's Ms. Marvel.
And it ties into like a lot of Marvel events at the time.
I would say give her the first where she was Captain Marvel. That first run was not bad. The one where she does the "we can do it" pose and everything.
Maybe.
That first run, a lot of people say it was not bad. That first run, the Kelly through the Conic, I think.
Yeah, I would say the same with Kamala, the first couple of trades, because anyway, people always tell me those are great.
They are very good. She was a very good character. The reason why she struck a chord.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I read like the first issue. It wasn't my thing, but I can see what people would enjoy about the character.
Oh, I just realized. It's another team book, but Morrison's Justice League.
Yeah, that's a perfect thing to do.
But JSA is a hard one. As great as Jeff Johns' JSA is, it's fixing too much.
Mm-hmm.
They try to fix a lot of issues that JSA had.
Yeah.
Oh. Because you don't really need 52 for this. Jeff Johns Booster Gold.
Okay, if you want to explain, here's a time traveling guy.
Yep, and you don't need much about it. Yes, they mentioned 52 because of 52 pickup, but for the most part, you don't need to know what happened in there.
Yeah, well, actually, if someone came up to me and says, I'm a Doctor Who fan, what can I pick? Booster Gold.
Nope, better one. Dan Slott Silver Surfer.
Okay, there you go.
That one because you had this quantum guy who seems to operate on so many cosmic levels with a companion going around with him, and he flies around in some weirdo ship that can actually shape, do all different type of things.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I really like that.
And it's Mike Allred's artwork. What do you expect? That's great artwork.
Mm-hmm. Now, all right, let's say, what characters do you think are the hardest to introduce to a new person? And let's start with DC.
Both hardest and yet easiest is Superman.
Yeah,
because it depends on the person. It depends on the person.
Like if they like it, like this way. If someone came up to me and said, "I really enjoyed the Man of Steel movie. Which one do I do?" New 52, I think. Just go with that because that's closest in tone wise to that. If I was saying Christopher Reeve, Secret Origin, I would say that. That's pretty much that movie. They even made Superman look like Christopher Reeve.
Oh boy, that was a point where Gary Frank went a little overboard with that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I understand that you like. By the way, I love Secret Origin. It's like one of my favorite Superman origin books besides Birthright. Birthright's the other. Actually, if someone came up to me and said, "I love Man of Steel. What Superman's book should I read?" I would say Birthright, first volume of Earth 1, and maybe New 52. Those three, because those three are pretty much the basis for that movie.
Yep. But as far as the Flash, there's a plenty of those. Jeff Johns, Wade, Williamson. So Flash is easy. Flash, believe, is surprisingly easy.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of those runs technically could count as reboots because it's like they're starting
points. I would say
starting points. Yeah. What I meant by reboots that typically they don't reference too much from the previous run.
Actually, well, funny thing is though, both Wade and Johns does carry over a lot of what Wade did, but he still started at his own starting point. Yeah,
but by Williams said Superman and Batman are easy. The Flash has always been a little harder for me, but still doable. Okay. In terms of like Wonder Woman, here's one that I think you could actually do. Bear with me on this. Superman, Wonder Woman. Particularly if you get someone that's a Superman fan that's not really attached to Wonder Woman, you want to say, here's kind of that. Because that book has plenty of Wonder Woman, and then you kind of want to, and then you can expose a little bit to her war with the gods. I know.
I get, no. Not to what you think. I get what you're saying, but it's also the long-termness of it that could be an issue.
Okay, it's a lot of that they stopping by.
All right.
But what I mean is like It introduces you slowly to each portion of Wonder Woman's work, because I wouldn't bring up the Azzarello run.
No, definitely not.
No, absolutely. As much as I actually enjoy that run,
it's a Vertigo book by comparison.
It's pretty much essentially Comic Historian actually summarized it perfectly. It's an Elseworlds in continuity Wonder Woman book.
I just realized something. You know what? It was a good book if you want someone to see something like great writing. But you're going to say, don't judge it as all comics. Morrison's Doom Patrol.
I've never read Doom Patrol.
Oh, dude, it's trippy because this was one of the books that started out in continuity and then became a Vertigo book as it went on.
It's kind of funny when you said, "Oh, it's trippy." That's pretty much every Grant Morrison book.
Not all. JLA wasn't trippy.
Sometimes it got really trippy.
Not as much compared to other
Not as much, but it's like, remember, Final Crisis. Okay, Superman, sing Dark Side to death.
And we don't know any, but I did love how he leaves it up in the air what the song is.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if people have actually tried to sing that.
Yeah, well, no. It's whatever you want.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it, but I'd say, though, what is the more difficult one? A lot of the secondary characters.
Deathstroke, maybe?
Yeah, because they keep going back and forth with him. Is he a bad guy? Is he an anti-hero?
You know what actually is really easy to get people into?
I would say the New 52 Deathstroke, no. I hate to say that, but no.
Yeah. You know what's actually a really easy character to get into? I mean, a team to introduce someone to because of the nature of the book? Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Because each arc is a separate story, pretty much.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
And they introduce you to who these characters are.
And heck, even plenty of the Black Label books are good.
Yeah, exactly. Not Three Jokers, but I see what.
No. I was talking about Suicide Squad ones.
Oh, yeah.
Joker.
Yeah, you could. Luther.
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
That can introduce you to so many female characters.
In terms of Aquaman, just give them Jeff Johns.
Or Peter David.
No, I'm saying if you want the modern Aquaman, that chances are they're going to be adapting.
Yes.
Peter David, I like. Don't get me wrong. It's just the hook hand and everything like that, and people are going to go to the movie. Why doesn't Aquaman have a hook hand?
True. That is true. The only time that worked was they used that was in Justice League, the cartoon.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Look at Batman is the easiest. Batman, that's one of the reasons why he's so big. It's one of the easiest.
Yeah, because here's the thing with Batman. He has, in many ways, the simplest world because it's just a dude fighting other dudes.
And I thought the fact is that Batman has shown throughout all the years he can be both comedic and yet serious. You can have any one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Superman has not had it that easily by comparison.
Yeah, Superman is kind of... Because here's the thing, Superman has an image problem, and it's not necessarily his fault. It's just a lot of people see him as lame, unjustifiably, as we know.
Now, and Wonder Woman, unfortunately, is an image problem because you have the juggling between being a hero, an icon, and a warrior.
And then you have, like, the problem hammering down which origin she has.
Not counting that.
Not counting that, but I see what you're saying.
I'm talking about even before the origin issue. She's always had the problem of, what is she? Is she a hero? Is she about peace? Is she a warrior? And unfortunately, the warrior is the one that, yes, draws butts to the seats, but it doesn't help the character.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying there.
Yeah. Oh, but I saw one guy comment on one of Perch's videos saying, you know what will get people going? Just have it be Wonder Woman and all the female characters on the beach. That'll get 500K right there. And it's like,
he's not wrong.
He's not
As wrong. A joke book, he's not wrong.
But he was, I don't know if this guy was, this was whatever that one guy is. I've seen him before. Infamy, something.
Let me ask you this, dude. Thanos.
Ooh, because here's the problem with that. If you go by Starlin, Thanos can be one of the most compelling characters.
Yeah.
But
Aaron? I wanted to bring that up just to screw with you.
Unfortunately,
by the way, I love where the Yeah, for those that weren't there for that one, the first times that Robert was like on a shoot with me and Taladia, I had just read the Jason Aaron Thanos, and Robert had this violent reaction to it. I basically explained to Taladia the story, and then Taladia literally goes, "Oh, that sounds awesome."
Unfortunately, that's the problem.
Oh, Tevia, good one. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Didn't happen Andy landing.
Yes, but here's the thing: it doesn't focus as much on the movie Guardians.
That's where a lot of them were introduced, though.
That is true, but it's like you see him show up and like this way.
Unfortunately, there's one downside though. You need Annihilation beforehand.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You do need Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
They play off of those, but those are great events. Those are great self-contained events.
Yeah, exactly. What events could you give a new person like get into comics in general?
I said Annihilation. It's
besides that. Civil War, I think you probably could.
You could. Yeah.
One. I want to be clear on this.
The first Civil War. Yeah.
2 sucks for so many reasons.
Infinite Crisis. That's both complicated with the setup, but at the same time, though, self-contained enough.
I mean, yeah, when I read Infinite Crisis, I still haven't read any of the tie-ins. I just have the individual trade, and I just flipped through that. That one works.
Yep. Of course, then I gave you at least one at the Superman tie-in. You said, why wasn't it in it?
Yeah, here's the thing. You know what's kind of funny, Robert? When because I got the Final Crisis Omnibus after reading the trade, and when I read the Omnibus, because it gives you so much more context, I was like, oh, this is way more understandable than just reading the trade for me.
Final Hulk, yes. Final Hulk and World War Hulk, yes.
Yep. It's isolated enough that, like, here's the Hulk. Barry, I have to play Brit's intro.
He's back.
Then Brit says Diana is all the above as a multifaceted character. To get people to care, it's the writer's job to balance it. Legal One is the best story for that. Yeah,
yes,
I would say that too. If you want to get, and plus here's the thing with Legal One, it has the Justice League, but could you technically tell people this may be in continuity? It may not be in continuity.
Exactly. I was about to say that.
Yeah, it's general enough that, like, since no one has, like, contradicted it, and it doesn't do anything that explicitly contradicts, you could just say it's in continuity. She fought a dragon.
Yep, definitely.
And kissed Superman on the cheek.
All right.
I'm just joking, of course.
But yeah, DC has...
All right, let me ask you this, Robert. What would you recommend if someone wanted to understand Lois Lane? No, but I'm serious, dude.
Lois Lane herself.
What would you say is a good distillation of the character?
That's the one fun thing, though. There's not one story. That's the one.
Can I say this? I do love in, like, Secret Origin when we first see Lois. Yeah, go ahead.
Rucka's Adventure of the Superman.
Okay.
What appearances she has in there distills her very well.
Is that the one where she's, like, shot and stuff because she's in Sarajevo? Okay, yeah. That would kind of work. I will say, one of my favorite parts of, I think it's Secret Origins, when we first see Lois, and then all you hear is, what do you mean I can't cover the story, Perry?
I know. I say Secret Origins is definitely one of the better ones that handle Lois. Birthright, I'm sorry. Wade's introduction of Lois, where she's just sitting there like, you're telling Perry what to do his job? I'm sorry. No.
By Tevia, just read like the Blue Beetle Jaime for...
Yep.
I have it right here. It's by Keith Giffen Jaime. That's the best one. That is 100% the best one, because that one... Yeah, references. Yeah, exactly. Do that. Because they, of course, Robert.
That's pretty much when he was introduced. And you don't need Infinite Crisis for it.
Yeah, and plus, you could just tell people there's stuff happening at the same time briefly, and then it picks. Of course, you have it.
Keith Giffen, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. One of my favorite writers. Yeah.
You know, he is notorious for sometimes handling, like how he handled Diana. He's one of the ones who treats Diana like a...
Yeah, but other characters that he's written, I very much enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Very much so. Like I said, This whole first 4 issues of Jaime is a great arc. It's one big arc. Yeah. The best part is they're all self-contained episodicness. This is like a TV show season, 2 seasons of a show right in here that tells one whole story.
Yeah. By the way, Daniel says Wonder Woman should not be that hard to write, not because she isn't a complex character or to have extensive lore, but she is the top. That doesn't mean. Well, Robert, we're not saying she's not iconic.
Robert.
I mean, sorry, Daniel. We're not saying she's not iconic. It's a character being iconic does not mean they're easy to write for.
Oh, Superman can be one of the
Superman is very hard to write for, according to some people, and he's like arguably the most iconic.
And unfortunately, Diana, because she's so multifaceted, like Britt says, it's all depending on the writer. Unfortunately, Runaways. Ooh.
By the way, I will say, when the interesting thing that like Kelly Thompson did really well is like she used as a basis Historia.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, that actually works because that gives you enough of a foundation that you can like change stuff. William, Keith Giffen is a legend, but JLI.
JLI was great.
William and I both hate JLI. We're just going to give you that. So, question.
We wouldn't have had blue and gold without it.
Yeah. Question. What about the Runaway?
Runaways is self-contained enough for the most part. Now, of course,
really anything.
Yeah. But start with Brian K. Vaughan. That's one where you gotta start at the beginning and work your way through.
Yeah, exactly. And
there are some books like that where you have to start at the beginning. And Runaways, though, it's easy enough.
If someone were to say Hawkeye, just read the Matt Fraction thing. That's good enough.
Hawkman,
that works.
Jeff Johns is.
Or that.
No, I said Hawkman.
Oh, Hawkman. Yes, exactly. Because the good thing about Jeff is he explains enough that you can get it, but he doesn't explain too much that it takes away your wish to go. See, in many ways.
Yep, I'll agree with him too. Young Avengers, yep.
Yeah, in many ways, here's the cool thing about comics. Since they reference other stuff and tell you what to reference, it becomes a scavenger hunt, and that can be part of the fun, too.
Yep.
So there is that. That's a fun thing. How about Green Arrow?
Oh, there's 2 different ones. Kevin Smith's run first, or the Longbow Hunters.
If someone's coming from the show, I would say Longbow Hunters.
Yep, but if you want something good, Kevin Smith is actually going, because even though it's him being resurrected from the dead, it's one of the better handlings of that.
And honestly, see, here's the thing. In terms of Black Adam, the graphic novels they recommend actually did a great job because
the Dark Age.
They have Dark Age, they have Rise and Fall of an Empire, which is essentially all of his 52 stuff, and New 52 Shazam. That's all you need. That gives you a good idea.
Shazam is a good one.
Shazam too. Well, yeah. For New 52,
except though you're not gonna like Billy if you go by that.
I mean, he goes through an arc. He goes through an arc.
That's true, but even still, it's not endearing.
In terms of Supergirl, I would say Superman, Batman.
Yep, Superman, Batman.
As an introduction to her.
As an introduction, yes. But then after that, I'd say Sterling Gates' run. Even though that ties into New Krypton, it's more focused on her, was New Krypton happening alongside it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still read that. That's Sterling Gates, Jamal Eichel. Great stuff.
Yeah, I would say so. Or you can even give them New 52, particularly if they're like fans of the TV show, because a lot of that is like modernization of who Supergirl is a little bit.
Oh, the Red Lantern.
Yes.
Red Lantern, Supergirl.
That was one of the coolest things that they did with Supergirl.
That fixed her. By that point, people were getting fed up with her by that point.
And here's the thing. It made her different than Clark because just so many times she just gets relegated to being Superman with boobs.
And she's had this anger issue since Lowe brought her back in Superman Batman.
So if anything, yes, it makes 100% chance he should be a Red Lantern. But I am excited this year we're getting the Red Lantern omnibus, and I'm like, yes, I'm getting that.
I already own them, so I don't need them.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I own every issue.
You own everything, Robert. Come on.
No, I don't.
I'm making a joke. Actually, See, here's the fun part about this next project. Alien. Just do literally anything.
Oh, wait. By the way, you do know it's the New 52 omnibus. That means it's collecting just before Soul.
I know. I still like that series.
Oh, wait. No, actually, no. It is including Souls as well, but it only goes up to... Oh, no, yeah. It is the entirety. Never mind.
I'm fine with that. By the way,
I'm wrong.
In terms of Alien... Here's the good thing about Alien. Just pick any graphic novel that has the word alien on it, because those are each are self-contained enough.
The Authority. Just get the Warren Ellis, the omnibus.
That's what I did. I got the Absolute Edition.
Yep. The Spectre. There's that Wrath of the Spectre. Mm-hmm. Boom.
Punisher. Mike Barron. Just go with that.
Mike Barron.
Yeah.
Right? I was going to say Welcome Back, Frank. Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis is Marvel Knights, I mean. Not his Max. His Marvel Knight stuff is really good.
How about Wolverine?
Either Larry Hama stuff or... Yeah, Larry Hama's.
Larry Hama. Weapon X. Yeah, go ahead. That works.
Yep, Weapon X. To a degree, Wolverine
Punisher Max by Warren Ellis, or
not Max. I would say Marvel's that. Yep, the Mike Zeck mini. Yep.
Yeah, it works. You can kind of go off of that.
Like I said, She-Hulk. Like I said, Burn and Slot.
Yeah, both of those work.
Both of those work very well.
Yeah, I would say that that's like a general foundational. And by Williams says Wolverine is the Frank Miller, what he would recommend. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, right. Here's one. Here's a character that pretty much stayed with its creator, but still a very good character. Manhunter.
Okay. There you go. All right. So I think that that's a good place to leave it. We gave you guys some good suggestions. If you guys in the chat have any suggestions, drop them in the comments. Consider like, comment, subscribing. We make a lot of great content, particularly for all you new people that came that subscribed to the channel this week. Robert, where can we find you, and what have you got coming on your channel?
You go to my website, which I'm sure you'll put a link down at the bottom, at where I cover Pro Teaches Noobs. I'm coming up on my 500th lesson, of which after that I'm going to start doing some overhauling of the show. Mm-hmm. And I'll probably get back to some game streaming eventually. I don't know when. And other than that, yeah, that's all I've got. I sure love the opposite opinions of this guy here, though. Let's keep that in mind.
Of course. And speaking of opposite, actually, wait. So in terms of, for me, movie night is going to be Long Halloween parts 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And then Super Wonder Legacy, Britt and I are going to be comparing Superman and Wonder Woman to Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And in terms of Wonder Woman, I'm going to talk about what Wonder Woman means to me in terms of characters, in terms of as a character. And that's what I got so far. So speaking of opposite opinions, stay heroic. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. And Steve Trevor, Steve Never, he belongs 6 feet in the ground. Zois and a Max about for life. I will see you later. Bye-bye.